Folks, April 27th will mark my 37th year as an alpha. My next guest is an omega. We're always going back and forth, joking with one another. It's always fun playing the Greek dozens. But there's one thing both of us do not joke about, and that is hazing. Not just when it comes to fraternities and sororities, but also when it comes to bands and football teams and other forms. At the end of the day, we both speak out against that. Well, Rickey dropped a video on social media a few weeks ago where he laid out his feelings about hazing and calling out members of his own frat and get them to understand the level of PTSD that they are literally hitting people with as a result of these actions. Here's some of what he said.
Members of all these fraternities, Kappas, Alphas, Sigmas, Qs, that's walking around and for the rest of their life, they have post-traumatic stress disorder from pledging. Got mental health issues for the rest of their life from pledging.
Folks, joining us right now is the host of the Rickey Smiley Morning Show, comedian, actor, philanthropist, all that good stuff. Rickey Smiley, what's up, man?
Hey, Roland, man, thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Man, when we talked about this before you dropped the video, and I said, man, absolutely do it. When I did an interview with Vlad TV, I talked about it, and man, there were a lot of cats who were upset. They were mad and angry. Had some alphas who were like, man, don't be talking about stuff that should be left in the house. And I'm like, when cats get killed, that's on the news. That makes national news. The cat was playing alpha in California. The young man there at Southern, and numerous other stories. So I'm like, what the hell y'all talking about? We can't be silent about this. No black parent should send their young child to college and he come home in a body bag.
That's right. It's like family business, talking about the one man in the family that sexually assault women, but you don't want the family to be embarrassed, so you don't discuss it. And we just have to get in a point in all of our organizations, Roland, where we can break the generational curse. It's a curse. It's a curse. It's a cult. It's a cult. It's part of a culture. And that don't make it correct because of tradition and, bringing you to the point of almost death don't make you no more alpha, kappa, omega, sigma, iota than anybody else in the fraternity that came in with a good pledge process. And it's just absolutely wrong, and I stand on it. It's not what I joined. It's not what I'm a part of. 26 years in the fraternity, it'll be 27 years, 27 years coming up in March. I can honestly say I ain't never put my hands on anybody. And I'm not going to put my hands on anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong. I don't care what tradition holds. I don't care what the line did before you or what the chapter did in the 80s or whatever. That does not make it right. And I don't think, and from what I've read from my own organization and what I know about other organizations, I don't think any of that was founded. That any of our founders had anything about beating people to the point where there's death and not just beating people, putting people in predicaments where they, like the young ladies that drowned, and people have drowned, people have drunk themselves to death. It's just hit the history, years and years and years and years of this. And if we don't put a stop to it, it's going to get worse, Roland.
Yeah, and when we say worse, we're talking death. And we have seen this. We have seen this from numerous groups. I remember, I think it was 1988, there was a young brother who was pledging alpha at Morehouse, and they were hitting folks in the chest. The brother had a heart defect. He died. I'm sorry. That's not how you make an alpha man. And see, you said something about process. And this is part of the problem here, Ricky, is too many people who get caught up in this bullshit of, oh, you paper. You didn't go through a real process. I pledged 16, 18, 20 weeks. We pledged a whole year. You dumb as hell for pledging a whole damn year. And I'm talking about the people who actually do it. When I pledge, I ain't got a problem saying it. And if you are Alpha or any other fraternity sorority and you don't like it, y'all can kiss my ass. We pledged 4 weeks, 2 days, 16 hours, 38 minutes, and 39 seconds. We crossed April 27th. You know why? Because finals was the next damn week.
Right.
Hell, and our chapter was like, yo, we need to end this process before finals. It's kind of stupid to pledge, then your ass on scholastic probation, and you're at home the following semester.
Right. 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 Absolutely, Roland. You know, man, we got to get back to what these fraternities and sororities was founded on. It was not founded on that. It was not founded on any of that stuff. It's founded on, you know, like we got programs, man. We're trying to help people. We're trying to save lives. We're trying to get people registered to vote. You know, and I can speak as an Omega man. That don't represent E. Dewey Smith Jr. and Ben Crump and James Clyburn and you know, different ones in our prestigious organization. And, you know, some of the stuff that other members do, that does not represent us. You know what I'm saying? I'm a member of Alpha Phi chapter, Birmingham, Alabama. I'm proud to be a member of that chapter. That's a wonderful chapter. I came in the Cyro chapter, and you know, and I just have a really good. We do a lot of great things in the community. We presently trying to buy an old police station, just where we can more than just making it a frat house, where we can do more community service. And I work with Omega men all over the country, man. I got some wonderful frat brothers, and I'm a proud member of Omega Psi Phi. But one thing it's time to break the generational curse. Just because things was done a certain way, that don't mean that things should still continue to be done that way. We have to do what's right. And, you know, I think it's a disrespect to all of the hardworking men of Omega and Alpha Phi Alpha and Kappa Alpha Psi Phi Beta Sigma Iota Phi Theta and all the sororities. I think it's a total disrespect for everybody that's stepping up to the plate, financial, working hard, doing things in the community, making differences, making difference in people's lives, getting people out to vote, or whatever, and things that's needed in the community. It's a disservice and a disrepresentation of what we stand for. And I'm not finna denounce.
And Ricky,
ain't nobody
right.
finna run me off. I ain't
Go
going
ahead.
nowhere, and I'm gonna keep talking about it.
Oh yeah, I will never forget, bruh. Across 1989, and our national convention was in San Antonio, and this was a part of the topic. And I remember I was about to go to the mic, and I had some brothers who were like, "Hey man, don't go so hard or whatever." And I was like, "The hell y'all talking about?" Because my deal is, at that point, our chapter did it right. We didn't allow hazing.
Right.
We didn't allow cats to come from other schools and to beat up on people who were pledging or do stupid stuff. And I said, I'm confused. If we doing it right, why are we not willing to say to others, this is the way you do it? Because, see, this is the thing that kills me when I hear these people talk about, oh, yeah, you paper or because you didn't pledge long. You can't name a single great Alpha or great Omega or great member of any other fraternity or sorority based upon how they pledged, how long they pledged, where they pledged, or even what they accomplished in college. No, we assign greatness as members on what they did after they got out of school, what they accomplished in their life, in their career. That's the measurement, not, oh yeah, man, I took wood and man, I got my ass whooped, and I bled for the frat. I'm like, you
Roland,
dumb as hell.
I'm gonna tell you something. Let's talk about that paper thing for a minute. That is a mindset and a manipulation to make you think that you are less than because you didn't go through certain stuff in your process. You know, to tell you a little bit about myself, man, I grew up in the projects. I'm a product of Section A, right? Raised by grandparents. Mom struggled with drugs. A pledge period is sitting there at 6 years old watching your grandparents cry because your dad is in the casket, watching my grandparents bury their oldest son, which was my dad, and still make it out of the projects, make it through high school with no financial help. I had nobody in the family that could pay for college. Went to Tuskegee my freshman year on a Greyhound bus with 2 trunks. Made it out of that. Here I am, 57 years old. No drinking, no smoking, never drunk, never smoked. Made accomplishment. Went to work every day. Did comedy, wrote comedy. Accomplished musician. Educated. Honorary doctorate from Miles College. And I'm not good enough. Hey, the host of BET Comic View in 2000, I bought the bros out on stage. I made sure that I made a proper representation of Omega Psi Phi for the 26 years that I've been in the fraternity. And, but just because you did not get to put your hands on me during my pledge process does not make me less than what you are as a bruh, because you got your ass beat for a whole year. That didn't work out for me, and that wouldn't have worked out for me anyway, because I would not have allowed it. I grew up with an uncle kicking my ass, haul off and slap, that was high on cocaine, and haul off and slap the hell out of you and hit you. I grew up with that. So if if anybody comes to the organization like I did, looking for a father figure, which I didn't have, my dad died when I was 6, looking for a brother, which I didn't have, I got one younger sister, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking for that, and you come to the organization looking for that. Why should anybody beat the hell out of you because you want to be a member and serve the community? Because that's what the fraternity is all about, Roland.
Look, that's what it's all about. And listen, I'm going to tell you straight up. Before we went online, I said to my LBs, ain't nobody going to hit me. Because here's the deal. If my daddy found out that I let some dudes my age whoop my ass for some letters, he would whoop my ass. Like, what the hell you doing? And I was like, no. I've never drank in my life. And I said, made clear, ain't none of that one do, all do. Hey, I'm not drinking alcohol. And see, this is where people get this thing confused, Ricky. They get it confused by saying, who you think you are, saying what you do and what you're not going to do. You damn right. And I've said to anybody pledging Alpha or any fraternity or sorority, you have the right to tell somebody you ain't touching me, you not going to hurt me, you not going to harm me. And I had a brother, had a young man, his father is a Kappa, he's an educator, university leader. His mother hit me and said, hey, my son want to be able to reach out to you because he's considering pledging Kappa. He saw your video and he wants to talk about it because he's uncomfortable with his idea of hazing. I said, yeah, have him hit me up. And I said, look, now you pledge in the wrong frat. You pledge in the youth group, but it's all good. But we had a great conversation, and he later pledged, and he called and thanked me for having a conversation with him. And what I said is, we got to have more cats who are willing to use our platform to say these things because, again, there are young black men dying at 18, 19, 20, being hospitalized, having lifelong health implications with bladder, heart, and organs because somebody beat their ass viciously. And I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
That is not what this is supposed to be about.
Absolutely. Well, Roland, I stand with you 110%, man. And, sometimes things happen for a reason. And what initiated that for me to make that video, because I was just having some issues within that had actually got out to the public, and you sent it to me, and as a friend, And I just had to respond to it because, you know, sometimes even being in these organizations, you're dealing with disrespect, you're dealing with bullying, you're dealing with jealousy, especially, you know, you're a public figure. But shout out to all of the bros that hit me up and gave me encouragement and have brought me a lot closer to the fraternity than I was before that video. And from the president all the way down to almost every auxiliary and even former Grand Bosliers have reached out to me and said, you know what, Ricky, we agree with you. We feel the same way you feel. We tired of it too. And it's a misrepresentation of why I get up and get on the radio, you know, and fight for it. And we already dealing with the stuff. You're dealing with the Trump administration. You're dealing with all of this stuff going on, man. We just don't have time to be fighting within. We need all of our divine nine to be strong and solid. You got midterm elections coming up. You got people hungry. People don't have nothing to eat. People are losing their SNAP benefits. There's a lot of stuff that you and I are on the phone talking about stuff like that every single day. And what can we do with our national platforms to implement change? And we just so happened to talk about this early this morning. We just got on the phone and started talking about it because you saw the video or whatever. And we just got to continue to do what we're doing, man, because you know, that's what it's all about, Roland. We need our divine nine to be strong. We don't need lawsuits. We don't need our divine nine to go away. They do a lot of good things in the community. Like we got a whole lot of programs, the talent hunt program. We got voters registration. We got a whole lot of things that we do within our organization. And I know, and I've been a part of some of Amplify Alpha's events where they have invited our morning show to come out and do stuff. And that's what we have time for. We have to get out here and help people. We don't have time to be hurting people. We don't have time for the lawsuits. One insurance company is representing the Divine Nine. Only one. If this keep going on and that insurance goes away, it's over.
Yep. Over. Because the organizations cannot afford the liability. And so if you are a member, you got to be stuck on stupid to literally put your membership in jeopardy, put your chapter in jeopardy, and put the entire fraternity or sorority in jeopardy because your dumb ass want to hit somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's got to stop. And Roland, I'm glad we're having this conversation. We have to break the generational curse because it's not right. You don't know what somebody been through. You don't know what health issues they have. A lot of us grew up with a stepdad beating us. A lot of us grew up watching our stepdad beat our moms and all of this kind of stuff. And you don't know what kind of, and it ain't even just about killing the pleasure. It's about a pleasure going to the trunk, coming back out, coming back in that frat house or wherever y'all are, clearing out a whole chapter because they snapped. And we're just going to have to do the right thing, Roland. We're just going to have to talk about right and wrong. Culture is not all the time correct. You know what I'm saying? That's gang activity. We're not the Crips or the Bloods. We're not. You know what I'm saying? The Crips and the Blood beat people to get in and beat them or kill them to get out. You know what I'm saying? Our founders, man, I have so much love and respect for the founders of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated and the things that they've done, and I listened to and have read up on some stuff on Bishop Love, and I just have so much. I always say, man, when I die and go to heaven, man, after being reunited with my family and after being getting an opportunity to see God's face and meet Jesus, the first four people I want to meet is our founders. So interested in them, and and I have to tell you, a lot of our organizations back in the day, Roland, they used to select members. And a lot of these people that's members of these organizations, I can honestly say, from what I've seen, the founders never would have selected.
And there you go. Ricky, I appreciate it, my brother.
Say what's up. Tell everybody what's up. Look, hey, Roland, I be cooking. We had gumbo today. Throw them up. Throw them up. Throw them up. You gonna throw them up? Go throw them up. You sleepy?
First of all, you go ahead and do this here right here. Just do this right here. That's all you got to do. Just do this right here. Just do this right here. That's the
This is my
that's the
oldest.
only
This
one
my
that
oldest
matters.
twin
All
right
right,
here.
Ricky.
That's your Uncle Roland right there. Wave at and say hello.
Y'all
Thank you,
take care.
Roland.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna go to my panel. I'm gonna go to my panel here and pull them in. You know, I'm gonna start with you, Omi Congo. This is what I have said to pledgees and to brothers. A pledge process is to how I see it is to break down an individual and then build up or rebuild an individual to understand the concept of brotherhood. So when you have a line, very few people actually pledge by themselves, but when you have a line, you are establishing a line brotherhood, which then teaches you the concept of brotherhood. So then when you become a member, you now understand brotherhood. Our responsibility should be shaping and molding a young man who is 18, 19, and 20 into what we want him to be to move on the rest of his career. That's the responsibility. That is not done by making somebody run 5 miles, denying them water, damn near waterboarding them. That was some, I think at SMU, where some guys were hospitalized because they consumed so much water, doing stupid stuff, putting Tabasco sauce on their genitals. I mean, just dumb stuff like that. That is just pure ignorance to me. That does nothing of building up a young man to become a man of Alpha or Kappa or Omega or Sigma or Iota or even in sorority, anything like that, or a band member or a football player. That's just beyond idiotic to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we have so many young people, like you said, even outside of fraternities and sororities, so many young people who are looking for things, you know, looking for family. And I speak to youth across the country. And to take advantage of that, to take it, you know, I have brothers who've been in a fraternity, sisters and AKA, you know, I have a daughter now who's a sophomore in college, you know, thinking about possibly pledging. I have a daughter who's about to be in college. And then, you know, my son is only in the 5th grade now. But the fact that people will take advantage of it, you know, they say hurt people, is really problematic. And we got so much other things that we have to deal with in our community, in our society, you know, violence from the police, you know, just the country in general that's violent against us. And to take these cherished institutions, these cherished organizations, and just flip them up and down on some barbaric, savage stuff, it's really problematic. And I think it's great that, you know, you, myself, Rickey Smiley, you know, other folks here, you know, on the panel as well, are talking to our young people about the importance of making sure you're treated the right way when you're looking at going to join some type of organization. Because this is just torturous stuff, it's barbaric stuff. And as Rickey Smiley was saying, the founders wouldn't pick some of these guys who are leaders. That's real powerful. And so the importance of teaching our young people to be strong judges of character and to let them be better at understanding when these organizations that you're looking to join aren't really serving you in the way that you would think. Because so many of our, you know, we don't have rites of passage programs in many of our places across the country anymore, Roland. And so these, you know, our young people are looking for this. So it's important that you all are speaking out on this, and all of the other brothers and sisters out there who are calling this out, because it's going to help the next generation of pledges, and it's extremely important.
The insane thing to me, Thelma, is I know of individuals who went through a pledge process, got hazed, and they hated the organization when it was over. They hated the brothers and the sisters. They didn't want to be involved. Some took years to get over to the trauma, or what Ricky talked about, the PTSD. What is the point of beating somebody to the point where they don't want to be involved in the organization when it's all over? That's how dumb this is. And we often talk about if a cop is beating a suspect and how the other cop should intervene. I say the same thing. If you're a fraternity member or a sorority member and you see another member who are about to do something, you snatch their ass and say, nah, you ain't doing this. No, that ain't happening. And so that to me is, this absolutely has to be a rewiring of how we operate when it comes to these organizations.
It is a rewiring, Roland, because I'll be honest with you, attending Southern University, the first time I heard of a brotherhood that did not involve hazing was when you came out to speak on Caleb's situation. I was like, that's not, that happens, that's a real thing. And it surprised me because when we go to HBCUs, the main thing, of course, is the HBCU, is the culture, is the tradition, it's the Blackness, but it's also the fraternity or the sororities that draw us to these universities. Now, when you think about why are you inflicting trauma? What is it about the process that you want to inflict trauma that that erupts into someone having long-term mental issues that they already probably had, and you have just turned on a switch that did not need to be turned on? Because this is, if it's a brotherhood or a sisterhood, this is supposed to be a fun process. This is supposed to be a process of bonding, really getting to know your brother or your sister, because y'all are going to be lifelong brothers and sisters. Why are you taking these students through hell and then trying to sell them heaven on the other side? But they can't get to that other side because they continue to think about the beatings and the money and the humiliation that they had to go through in order to obtain letters. Are the letters that valuable that they have to sell their integrity, their soul, their bodies for an extended period of time? And coming from Southern, where this happened when I was there back in 2005, the same organization did it to another young male, and he almost died. He almost died. He almost bled to death in the hospital. Said, if you did not come to the hospital when you did, you would not be here. So to see this organization back doing the exact same thing, that is what pissed me off about my institution, and knowing that they can put up barriers in order to prevent this from happening. So I don't only blame the organizations, I'm looking at the institutions, because they are not doing a proper checks and balance of these organizations.
Well, one of the things, Niambi, that a lot of this stuff happens off campus. And it happens outside of the governance of an advisor, things along those lines. And again, what you're doing is, one of the things that, you're a university professor, one of the things that we want to encourage are for young folks to be organizational leaders. But that still needs guidance. What we're talking about here is, you often have folks who are 19, 20, 21, 22, who are in leadership positions making these decisions. Now what pisses me off is when you got these cats who graduate and who come back and participate in this bullshit. And you got individuals who are 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 engaged in hazing as well. But this is where I believe, again, things put in place, and where you say, hey, actions can't happen, activities can't happen without advisors being present, but you need those advisors to not have a belief that a little hazing is okay. I had a conversation with one brother. He was like, well, I think, you know, your death is going too far. But I said, so you agreeing with beating? I'm like, are you serious? And I'm like, are you agreeing with a little beating? We know how that goes on. But what people have to recognize, this is a real issue. And we hear about the cases where someone dies or is seriously physically harmed. But there are other forms of hazing as well. Somebody, I think about a young man was pledging and was made to run around a track, and he was just exhausted and he collapsed and died. All right, if you're actually pledging someone and you want them to be physically fit, that's a different conversation about we going to work out in the gym for 30 to 45 minutes as opposed to I'm going to make you run 10 miles at 2 o'clock in the morning around the track.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's sleep deprivation, right? It's all the ways that people are humiliated, right? Made to walk around looking crazy, right? Can't dress up or can't, look like anything. There are lots of ways that we engage in hazing. And I think, given the fact that I'm with young people all the time, you see how vulnerable they are. I mean, I think Rickey hit something that was really important, right? You have young men and young women who are looking for something. And these are the places that they think they're going to find it. But as Thelma so eloquently put it, you put them through hell with the promise, right, that the other side is actually going to be worth it. But is it? This is not dignified behavior. In fact, I mean, you're mimicking a lot of the abuse that Black people have experienced at the hands of this country, at the hands of white people, and you calling it, a process. This is not a process. It's violence and abuse, and we have to call it what it is. And just because you were abused, the fact that you would visit that on someone else, I think, says more about you than them. And I think you hit it right on the head too, Roland, which is you have these adults who have a lot of say and a lot of sway over these young people, because you're talking about organization, you're talking about hierarchy, you're talking about power imbalances. And you have a lot of people who are really willing to do anything, including giving up their physical health, their mental health, their emotional well-being, because they so want to be in this organization. Because for some people, this is their social outlet. This is their brotherhood. These are their, quasi mentors and father figures, or they think this is their ticket into the elite circles that they want to be in, because it opens up a whole new social network. Whatever reason people have for joining, these people are exploiting that in some of the most grotesque ways possible. But the way they're able to do it is because we are so indebted to these organizations in so many aspects of our community. And so many of us know people who are members of these organizations. And so we see those people, and we don't think about the fact that there are people on the other side that are actively abusing new members and prospective members, and abuse these people that we see. I mean, hell, some of these people might be those very same abusers. So it's a lot that we have to, I think, wrap our head around as communities, because even if we're not members of D9, we might be co-conspirators with them when we see these things happening, like you said, and say nothing. When we see people harmed, and that might be your roommate, and you don't take them to the emergency room, and they are Black and blue and bruised up and beaten. Or we see them, wrecked emotionally because of something that they've been forced to endure. And we have sat by and we've watched these people suffer because we don't have anything to do with it. We're not members. But as members of community, which is all this is about, we have responsibilities to them, and we have responsibilities to one another.
Well, listen, a couple of one of my nephews who pledged Omega, he know he made the wrong choice. Trey know that. But anyway, I got two other nephews, and I made it perfectly clear. If either one of them decides to pledge Alpha, that chapter gonna get a visit. We gonna have a conversation, and I'm gonna make clear that if anything happens to my nephew, if he's touched, I will make sure that every single member gets kicked out of the fraternity. The only way hazing ends is if individuals who are members say no more. A little hazing, no, can't work. This has to end, because we have Black people who are dying. And I'm sorry. I love Alpha, but this crest is not worth giving your life for.